Alright everybody, so we're back with another video for you today. Hope everybody's doing well. Today we're going to learn an interesting concept. Basically what today's lesson is we're talking about power chords. This is kind of a common thing among guitar players, so piano players really don't talk about power chords too much, but basically just a little bit of theory here again. Chords are made up of what's called a 1, 3, 5 is what a major chord is made up of. So that would be in the case of a C chord. Remember, we have that major scale. So it's made up of the first note, the third note, and the fifth note. And that makes up a chord, right? And, you know, if you were to go, there's a whole numbering system to it. But basically what you do to make a power chord is you're leaving the third out of the chord. And so it gives it this kind of, that kind of sound. And when you play that on like an electric guitar or something, that's where a lot of the rock sound comes from. So that's what you're kind of seeing when you're talking about power chords. So, but for music sense, especially on the keyboard here, it kind of simplifies things because you're not really, it's kind of like, is it a major chord, is it a minor chord? You don't really know because it's kind of just the outer part of a chord. So it kind of makes it easier because if you know what the chord progression is supposed to be, you could just play power chords for all the chords and it would still sound good, which is kind of the direction that the course is leading. And kind of all transparency, I kind of went through the course before, had to take a little break. So I got up to the point of like playing your first song, but then I'm kind of having to repeat everything. So I kind of know a little bit what's going on to a certain point, but power chords are really fun on the electric guitar because that's where kind of rock comes from. But it makes it easy on the keyboard to play songs. So basically what we're doing today is we're going to do a kind of an exercise that helps us to learn these power chords and will help us later to translate that to a song. And just to kind of give you a little preview, it gives us a Beatles song to do as like our first song, but I'm kind of more of a worship pianist, so I think I'm going to look for a song that has the same chord progression, and we're going to learn that song instead, so kind of stay tuned for that. But so here we go. So again, we're finding middle C, which is right here. And you do, when you're making a chord, 1, 3, 5 position on the keyboard, you basically are doing the C, skip a key, D, E, right? And then skip a key and G. So right there we have a C chord, C, E, G. You can hear it. But we'll take this note out, the E, and now we just have the C and the G, and you see our hand shape. It's kind of the first, we numbered our fingers, remember? So one being the thumb, 2 index, 3 middle, 4 ring, and 5 pinky. So we are using our first and our fifth finger, and we got power chord. Same thing if we go on this end, it's going to be reversed. We got our pinky being the 1 and our thumb being the 5. So you can hear it more in the bass section, that power chord, how it has that kind of, I don't know how to even describe it, like a stronger feel to it. So the exercise is basically what we're going to do is we're going to play all the way up the C major scale until we get back to the octave, remember, the 8th note, which kind of restarts the sequence using just these power chords. So we're just going to have one shape, which is going to be this shape, basically, and I'll show you with just these fingers how we're going to play it, which you don't want to do this, but you want all your fingers here, but just for demonstration purposes, this is how it's going to be. So we're going to start out, we're going to play the C power chord, then D, E, F, G, A, B, and then we're back to C. So that's how it will look with just those fingers, but if you want to keep it like this, then you're just doing this, and it's the same thing. And then with the left hand, same thing with the exercise. It's going to be just your pinky and your ring. So it's, we're at D, E, F, G, A, B, and then back to C. Right, so that's how that exercise is going to go. And basically, it also gives you an opportunity to do, if you get comfortable with that, you can do both hands at the same time. It doesn't require it. It just says it's an option, so that's up to you if you want to do that. And then what I would suggest doing, and it does suggest this, is to put the metronome on again, because we're going to keep going back to it, because the metronome is essential to learning timing and rhythm. I know most people hate it because they hate the click. For some reason you don't like the click, you can just find a drum beat on YouTube or something that plays at that same tempo, but you need to have something that plays a constant tempo. And the reason being, and the reason it's stressed so much, and I learned, is when you're playing guitar or you're playing piano and you're playing by yourself, you know, you keep in your own rhythm, right? And you kind of keep your own time. But when you start playing with other people, right, when you start adding other rhythms into the mix, then it gets a little more complicated, because you're having to keep time and rhythm with other people. And if you're not used to playing with a metronome or playing in time, you're going to have a lot of trouble, because you're going to have to start playing in time with other people, especially if you're not paying attention to time signatures and things like that. You're going to have a really hard time when you start playing with actual people instead of by yourself. So that's kind of my little rant on the metronome. It's definitely very important, and you need to make sure you're doing it. But that's the exercise for today. Tomorrow is going to be an exciting day. I don't know if it may be tomorrow exactly, but you know, the lessons right now are coming out once a day, because like I said, I've already been through a lot of this, so it's kind of easy to go through. But when it starts getting a little more complicated, you know, there might be less lessons, just because, you know, it's going to take a little more for me to be able to translate it and teach it to you, because I'll be learning it real time and then trying to translate it, and I hadn't seen the material before. So, but stay with me here. We're on this journey together, and I'm excited to see how everybody's going to progress. And if you feel comfortable enough, definitely, you know, let me see how your practice is going. And I try to post shorts of kind of little things, how practice and things like that. So would love to see it, because I'm definitely wanting this to be like a community. So, but hope you're enjoying it. And as always, this has been the Midlife Pianist. Hope you have a great day.